Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of The Adam and Chris Show. I'm St. Adam.
I'm Chris Malice.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since all of us and I have just spoke, but yeah, it's been an even longer time since Chris has been here. And look how weird this looks. My beard is longer than his.
Yeah, and he's got more hair than me too.
This isn't right. I'm gonna trim.
Well, you do you, man. You do you. If you like it, keep it.
No, I mean, it's becoming a hassle. My wife's trying, when she's going to kiss me, she's trying to brush away my lip hair.
No,
so.
just imagine like if you guys are fucking around and or start to hold down your beard. I've been there
Hi,
before.
honey. All right. Well, this is kind of a video update. Like I said, it's been a while since I released a video. You're probably wondering why. You're probably wondering what's been going on. So we're going to address that. First thing on the agenda here is we both had COVID.
Yeah, and it sucked.
At separate times.
It sucked less for me because I got vaccinated and I got the booster.
I mean, so did I.
Yeah.
But it still hit me pretty hard.
And I had tons of pornography to watch, so.
Well, I mean, so if you were to die, you could be coming and going at the same time.
Yeah,
There
very
you
much
go.
so.
No, so you got sick with COVID first. That was around, what, New Year's?
Yep. Week of New Year.
If you want to tell them how that went.
I didn't even really know that I had it until I went and got tested. Mm-hmm. So, and then I had to stay confined to my apartment, and I had a roommate, my brother, so I had to stay in my room and try to avoid getting him sick. Which he only had, I think, one shot of the vaccine. So, but he eventually got it, but he was in still better shape than I think that someone that wouldn't have gotten it.
Yeah.
So, now I just chilled in my room, ate very little, was depressed, watched porno, talked shit. It was fun, I guess. I couldn't. I would have rather been at work, but we had the 5 COVID days, so and then by that time, the CDC regulations had stated you just need to be gone for 5 days. So I was just gone for like 5 days. So I didn't have to use any of my PTO, but
I ended up testing positive for COVID at the beginning of February.
Ooh.
And if anyone watched the Christmas video, you see me break into a coughing fit at the end, and that was happening a bit. I don't think I had COVID that long, but definitely something was going on. I got diagnosed like almost 2 weeks before that with a sinus infection. It was a really
that could fool the COVID thing, yeah.
Right. And then how I found out is I had to get tested. People I knew had COVID, and I'm like, I am coughing, and I'm coughing like really hard. Really like I don't know if a cough can be violent, but it
can be.
Yeah, it's like a violent cough.
I had because when I had stomach surgery about more than a decade ago, I think this is, so my view is this is they said that COVID could have been in the United States the tail end of 2019. I had the flu on fucking steroids, and there was a point where I was coughing so hard, I felt that I ripped something in my inside up, and I actually ended up having to call my mom, like, I might need to go to the hospital. It was fucking awful.
Right, my lungs were killing me. I was coughing so hard. But yeah, I went and got tested, and they're like, yeah, you have COVID. And I was out for 2 weeks. Like, I could not shake this thing. Like, originally I was going to do the 5 days, but I contacted my family doctor, and I'm like, here's what I'm going through. I'm not sleeping. That was making it even worse, because I'd just wake up in coughing fits. There was like a lot of drainage and everything, and oh man, I wasn't sleeping. I was not eating a whole lot. I was just like curled up in the fetal position on my couch because I was trying to sleep sitting up to reduce like the drainage and everything, but that was bad. So yeah, COVID was no joke. But then after that, I wanted to do videos, and I started getting equipment issues. I had mic issues. I had camera issues. I had memory card issues. I'm like, what the hell? And I had to replace a few things and everything like that. So I never got to film the end of the year awards. I had everything written out Because even after I returned to work and everything, after having COVID, I was still having really bad coughing fits. And that went on for like the rest of February, to be honest. Like it was horrible. And I was like, I can't even imagine trying to do a video and get through that. And just, I don't like coughing on camera.
Yeah.
And so, like, to sit there and have to edit out every 2 minutes of me just coughing.
Yeah.
And not just like a couple. It's like I would get going. And like, by the time I get done coughing, I'm seeing spots and everything. I'm like, oh, shit.
Oh, not good.
So, if anyone's wondering, I can read what I had written down for the end of the year awards. This will be real quick. We're not going to do the whole. I always try to make it an event.
Yeah.
Like the Oscars. Not as much of a hit, though. Okay, so here we go. Real quick. Best movie, Ghostbusters Afterlife. As a Ghostbusters fan, and having seen, like, well, except for the first, that was 3 when the first one came out, but all the other ones I saw in the theater, and I'm like, this one hit me right in the feels. So I'm like, it's got to be it. It beat out Spider-Man No Way Home.
Spider-Man No Way Home was good, but my personal favorite movie of last year was Nobody with Bob Odenkirk.
I still haven't seen it.
Love that fucking movie.
It's in my queue on HBO Max. I haven't seen it yet.
Absolute must-see.
Well, maybe I'll watch it tonight.
There you go.
Let's see. Worst movie, I said Space Jam: A New Legacy.
Because it's built on a movie, having a movie. I'm sorry, I'm just going to say this. Yes, kids may like the first Space Jam movie, but Michael Jordan couldn't act in it. LeBron, let's. Athletes are all athletes are actors. Okay, let's come on, and that's fine. It's fine if they're not. You know.
Well, I mean, not only that, but like the Looney Tunes just looked horrible in this. The redesign, trying to make it like more 3D animated instead of like the 2D.
And then Lola Bunning be less perverted.
Well, I don't even care about that because I wasn't someone that jerked off to Lola.
No,
so,
I mean, come on, furry's fun.
If you say so.
I mean, I never thought about licking her ass or something like that, but
hi-oh!
You know.
I had, for best album, I had Exodus, Persona Non Grata, excellent album. It was pretty close between them, and Testament released a new one too.
Yeah.
So it was really close between the two. Worst album, of course it would have to be Limp Bizkit, which still sucks.
Yeah,
because that's the only honest thing that they've ever said is,
I've never seen a band with so many fucking people that actually have talent. And like Sam Rivers is a good bass player, John Ottman's a good drummer. Borland, you can have a debate, but he's a good new metal guitar player. But Fred Durst is such a fucking
douche
tool bag. It's just, he's so fucking annoying. I got into metal, get away from guys like Fred Durst.
Right.
Okay.
And
that's why I don't like new metal. Is that invited those types of assholes that fucked with us when we were in high school for liking this type of shit.
Not only that, but
into the fucking scene.
It brought in that douchebag frat boy mentality, and then it brought in musicianship that wasn't good. Now there were bands that I knew could play, but they were dumbing down their sound because that's what Ross Robson had envisioned.
Yeah.
So, Limp Bizkit, that album's horrible, and I hate myself for having to listen to it to make sure it was the worst album of that year. So yo.
Oh god, the fucking shit is so annoying.
Going on, best wrestling match was in NXT. Walter versus Dragunov 2. I think when you go back and watch that, the first one, Dragunov was pretty much dead at the end of that match. And it was the second one, the rematch, was just as hard hitting, but it told a nice story and it had the right outcome. Worst wrestling match, Orton versus The Fiend at WrestleMania last year. Why the fuck did that get
booked that way?
I don't fucking know.
Who the fuck?
That whole feud sucked, but that was the cherry on top.
Why the fuck? First off, Fiend is hot as hell at that point. He's
at that point, I don't know.
Well, I mean,
because he got killed by Goldberg, and that kind of really
And they shouldn't have done that too. But everything they just, oh my god, And I like having more Alexa Bliss on fucking screen because, you know, who doesn't? But that was just bad.
Yeah. Made no
Fucking
sense.
bad.
I wonder how much money they spent on that just to have it go that way.
Ugh.
Best moment in wrestling, CM Punk debuts.
Yes, that was great.
That was amazing, and I feel like Tony Khan definitely got his money out of that. Mm-hmm. And ever since, everything Punk's done.
Yeah, it's been great. His feud with MJF is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, that'll
the best thing in
that'll
wrestling.
probably get match of the year next year. I don't know. It's
that's the best thing happening in wrestling right now, isn't it? Because MJF is the best newer generation wrestler in the business.
And the best heel.
Yes, hands down. If you make him a face, you're a fucking moron.
It'd be like turning Chris face.
I'm not a heel, am I?
What do you think? Okay, worst moment in wrestling, the WWE layoffs, when they lay off like enough people to start your own wrestling company.
Yeah.
So that sucked. A lot of these people were just blindsided. And then they were stuck in the non-compete thing for the rest of their contract.
Yeah.
I think there should be a clause in there. It's like, yeah, if we lay you off, you have the option to stick with the non-compete and still collect money from us, or you can cut that right now and go, but you'll no longer
Typically,
get
with something
from
like
us.
a non-compete, all right, when you get involved in a non-compete, they have to compensate you with a lot more money because you are voluntarily putting your services out. Like you're basically discontinuing your service to a potential competitor there. So they have to compensate you for that. I had a instructor who had a non-compete clause. They were a lawyer, and they had a non-compete clause, and they gave them more money. So this is just a little insight for everyone that signs something like a non-compete clause. They have to compensate you. If they're not going to compensate you or anything like that, then
yeah, but they
fight
hold
for it.
them to that standard. Like, well, now you can't do anything for 90 days.
Well,
Or, whatever. And I'd be like, give them the choice. Do you still want to collect a paycheck from us? You can, but you can't compete. If you want to get out and join something else, okay, fine. But, that cancels the payments.
yeah.
Give them that choice. Because a lot of these wrestlers are like, I'm hot right now. I have a following right now. I can go out and do other things.
Yeah, yeah.
And you make me sit at home. I can't even talk to other companies.
Yeah.
Best video game, I said Guardians of the Galaxy because I had a blast
I
playing
didn't
that.
play a whole lot of video games last year. You want to know why I didn't play a whole lot of video games last year? Because I ended my year prior with starting up Cyberpunk at its worst fucking state. That turned me off to video games the rest of the year. I was just like, fuck this. There's two developers and publishers that I still had faith with. id, and they only slightly pissed me off. And then CD Projekt Red. And then when I got, because I had a fucking original Xbox One. Mm-hmm. When I got that fucking thing and put that fucking thing in there, it looked like somebody smeared Vaseline all over the fucking camera. And, glitchy as fuck. I'm like, are you kidding me? You guys were, wow.
You guys were wow.
Wow, that was something I was like highly anticipating. I'm like, yes, I'm going to lose a month of my life to this fucking game, and fuck you.
Did you ever go back and play it?
If I get a Series X, I'll play it.
Okay.
Because I guess it's good now. Thank you. Fucking 6 months later, we have the game that we almost promised. Bravo.
Well, so that gives us the worst video game ever. I said it was Popeye on the Switch because I loved the original Popeye game when I was a kid on Nintendo. And, it was kind of like Donkey Kong. Mm-hmm. They remade it, and I swear they only remade it so someone wouldn't lose the licensing rights.
Probably.
Because this game is nothing.
Yeah. It's nothing but
it's so just stripped down and not fun, and it's hard to describe, but basically you run around collecting things that Olive throws out, kind of like in the original Nintendo game. Mm-hmm. You can collect cans of spinach, and whenever Brutus comes up, you can punch him into the ocean, and he'll swim back, and it just keeps going like this. And it's the same music in every level, and it just loops.
Wow.
Just over and over and over and over. And unless you have the spinach, your punch does nothing.
Sounds like what happened was the developers or the publisher had a two-man team and they're like, look, we're just trying to renew this license. don't even put that much effort in. We'll give you $50,000.
They had a 2-man team, and one man had a nervous breakdown.
Yeah. We're going to release this shit?
So, okay, moving on, because I don't want this to be too long. MVP of the year, Officer Eugene Goodman. Mm. You know who he is?
Yeah.
He's the police officer on January 6th that led the rioters through the Capitol and away from, the people in the Senate and got them back out. He bought time to get people out. He deserves to be an MVP.
There you go.
Scumbag of the year is a toss-up between Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema because fuck both of them.
Yeah.
And I don't even need to go into why. If you haven't been paying attention, then nothing I say will matter. Mm. Best comic book moment. So there is a comic called The Ronin. It's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle book.
Yeah. Okay. Before you get into this, don't spoil who
That was the moment, though. So spoilers, real quick.
Okay.
So basically, it takes place in the future. Mm-hmm. There's one Ninja Turtle remaining. You don't know who it is. Everyone else is dead, and he's reliving stuff. And I was like, okay, I narrowed it down to like out of the 4, the 2 who it could have been. And it's finally revealed in the most kind of awkward way because he collapses and an older April O'Neil takes him in and recognizes him based on just without his mask or anything. It's Michelangelo. And I even said that when Chris Gans...
I didn't read that book.
When Chris Gans...
No.
You can still read it. It's still good. Yeah. But I told... Because Chris Gans is the one that told me, and I was like, it's either going to be Leonardo or Michelangelo. Because Raphael would probably be the first one to die, because he's hot-headed. He's going to run in first. And Donatello would be... the Ronin would be more Gizmo-oriented if it were Donatello.
Yeah.
So it has to be Leo or Mikey.
Yeah.
So... Really good moment. Mm-hmm. Definitely check out that book. Worst comic book moment, and it's really a moment that maybe I think as of now it's happened, but when I filled this out it hadn't. But it had been announced. The Punisher skull change.
Yeah, that's stupid. So what? Here's my take, and this is the honest truth. So what if Blue Lives Matter has adapted the Punisher logo? I like Punisher. They
shouldn't because Punisher represents a failing of the system.
I get it. I get the argument. Here's my thing. I'm not telling people to dislike the Punisher because of that type of shit. He's not a part of the Blue Lives Matter. He's cause or whatnot. And yes, but I'm not going to tell cops, hey, you can't fucking like this character or anything.
No.
This redesign, and if anyone thinks that it was done because of that adaptation, it probably, who knows. It's still stupid. What's going to happen is, just like how many times they've redesigned Superman, we're going to go back to what Christopher Reeves looked like. They're going to go back to the fucking skull Punisher because that's what sells.
That's what, and Marvel's really good at caving. Everything they say this is going to be the future from now on, like when they killed the Human Torch, and Joe Quesada's like, nothing will be the same again. And then a year later, Torch comes back and you're back to the original 4?
Yeah.
So, it will. Now, in storyline, it's because the Punisher became the new Warlord of the Hand. And within that story, okay, that can make sense. Mm-hmm. If that stays around after the story's done, I think that's where they lost the plot.
Yeah.
Because Punisher, the thing about the Hand is they're mystical. And you found out when he turned him into an assassin for God, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
All right, this is how you write Punisher. Very simple. You take an area with scumbags.
Uh-huh.
You take the Punisher. Mm-hmm. He goes in that area. He kills those scumbags. That is that. That's it. He's a human killing machine.
Do you launch him into space?
No.
Do you make him Frankenstein?
No, absolutely. Neither of those things. You take scumbags. You take Punisher. Put him with the scumbags. He fights and kills them. End of story. Rinse, repeat. Very simple. And occasionally he runs into a hero that thinks he goes too far, because yes, he does, but who the fuck cares?
He doesn't have a lot of recurring villains.
Yeah, they're all dead.
Okay. Most disappointing game, I really should have put that up by worst video game. The most disappointing game of 2021 has to be Blood Rain Revamped. First off, they really didn't even advertise that this was a thing. I didn't find out
they
until
probably did
like the
with that what they did with Popeye was releasing that remaster to retain the license.
The remaster is glitchy as all can be. It is borderline unplayable. I mean, they should have started from scratch, really, like they did with Resident Evil 2's remake. They shouldn't have, like, revamped it. I mean, I get the pun and everything, but they should have started from the ground up and rebuilt the games and introduced those games to a new generation that probably never played them.
Yeah, and they could have made Blood Rain a little bit more tarty.
I mean, she was never really modestly dressed in the original.
Nah, that's fine.
Let's see. Moment of the year. Ghislaine Maxwell being found guilty because of course she fucking should have. And I'm glad that justice actually went through with that. Worst moment of the year.
Yeah, the insurrection was bad.
January 6th. I mean, it's just, on every level, just the worst moment of the year. It's embarrassing to watch and have other countries see that happen.
Also, I'll add for a caveat for Scumbag of the Year, fucking R. Kelly, because...
Did he do anything last year?
Yeah, he got convicted.
He did?
I believe, yeah. It was bad. Bad. Like he gave herpes to teenage boys.
Oh, well, that's pretty
That's
bad.
the tip of the... Whoa, shit!
No. Please don't say R. Kelly and the tip.
Yeah,
Please don't say that.
Ugh. So, a guy I work with was like, well, are they going to still put I Believe I Can Fly in movies now? I'm like... no, I don't know. And he's like, well, what they should do is get a William Hung's version of the song. I'm like, you know what? That'd be better than Kelly's at this point.
So there you go. That's what the end of the awards was going to be. But because of COVID, I couldn't film it. But there are some other things happening in the world right now, and we can go ahead and address those. You know, they're topical as of the time of filming this. The Russia-Ukraine situation.
Bad.
Yeah.
Bad. Russia's
bad.
evil.
Yep.
Fucking evil. Fucking evil.
You know, I always told people, I was like, you know, Putin is a bad guy. The skeletons in his closet are literal skeletons.
Yes, he's KGB.
This guy has murdered people.
Yeah, he sent people to other countries to take out somebody.
Yeah.
Because organized crime is so fucking intertwined into the Russian government.
This is why we need Elliot Stabler. I don't know if you've ever watched Law and Order Organized Crime, but you'd love it.
I know Leary's in it, so I might give it a watch.
Yeah, well, he is, as of now, at this part of the second season. But we'll talk later.
Okay.
Speaking of that situation, there was a guy by the name of Roman... I don't even know how to say this last name. Hrybrov?
Yeah.
Hrbov?
Yeah, he got a medal for telling the Ruskies to fuck off.
Yeah, he got a medal for saying go fuck yourself.
He should have got a Nobel biggest balls motherfucker in the world prize.
Well, he's from Snake Island, and if you ask my wife, you've got to be brave to live on Snake Island.
Yeah.
So
give that man an award.
He did get one. They did. So, I mean, that's something that happened. That's pretty cool. Something that wasn't pretty cool that just happened last week were the Oscars.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're now getting viewership now. I wonder why.
You know,
Trainwreck TV.
You want to know how they can get viewership? Is if they really nominate movies that more people are familiar with.
Well, I know that, like, the whole fucking them at one point having a certain, like, movie category for stuff like Black Panther and the Avengers movies. It's like, really? Are you guys that big of cunts that you know? There's movies that they're written well and you know, fine art, I guess, that they'd like to push. But I mean, I love Martin Scorsese. Gangs of New York's a great movie. It's not his best movie. It's not the one that should have. He got Best Picture that year. There's probably something else.
I thought he got Best Picture for Departed.
He got Best Director for Departed.
Oh, that's right.
Departed got Best Picture, and Gangs of New York both got Best Picture. Departed, I think, is a way better movie. But, I mean, the Oscars have given Best Actor to numerous people for different awards, and not their most iconic films. Pacino got Best Actor not for fucking Corleone.
For Sin of a Woman.
Yeah, for Sin of a Woman. Yeah. Will Smith, I haven't seen that movie.
Speaking of Will Smith.
Yeah, but he should have got Best Actor for The Pursuit of Happiness, you know. They just
he got an Oscar nod for Ali.
Yeah. Leo. He should have got Best Actor for Revenant, but he should have gotten that beforehand. Because, let's face the facts. He was borderline, almost going to die filming Revenant, so they had to give him Best Actor.
Well, speaking of the Oscars and Will Smith, did anything happen with Will Smith at the Oscars?
Oh, it's a huge hit. Yeah, he slapped Chris Rock. It's going to be polarizing, and my take on it. So
we're not going to harp on this one because I'm just going to say
this. This is the thing that I'm most disappointed about. First off, some fucking shitty journalist that was creating clickbait posted an article. I reposted it and said, not reposted it. I took a screenshot of it. So the article basically says, well, the police was at the Will Smith estate, basically now implying that Will Smith had committed some sort of violence against somebody. And that's not true. The reason why the police were there was some asshole was flying a drone over fucking Will's house, and he didn't want that to happen, rightfully so, because that's his property and his privacy. So fuck the idiot with the drone. But the biggest thing I'm disappointed about is the year beforehand, we saw so many of the Vin Diesel, Dom Toretto family memes. Nobody, someone do this. Nobody's made a Will Smith, Vin Diesel, he slapped her for the family meme or anything like that. I'm disappointed.
I made one joke about this on social media, and then I was done because it's overplayed. And I said, Chris Rock should be happy that Will Smith didn't have a Twisted Tea in his hand. And if someone made the meme of him with the Twisted Tea when he hits him, I think the internet would have imploded.
Yeah.
But to go to that situation, everyone's got their own take on it. I said, fuck around and find out is funny until someone fucks around and finds out.
Yeah.
What Will Smith did was assault. By every definition of the term, it was assault. However, we have all, if someone makes a joke about your wife,
you do need to to
stand up. Now,
but he could have done that in a better way.
He could have went to him, behind the scenes and, hey, man, that wasn't cool. She's suffering from alopecia. He was laughing and then caught her looking at him.
And Jada, I think Jada could throw down.
Yeah, I think... Well, here's the thing that I have to wonder. The people that are mad that Will Smith slapped Chris Rock and said it was uncalled for, would they all feel the same way if Jada walked up and slapped him?
I wouldn't mess with Jada. Jada's like Angela Bassett, man. I think both those women could fucking beat your ass.
Right, but I'm saying, would everyone that says it was wrong for Will to do it, would every one of those people be like, it's just as wrong Jada did it? Or would people be like, well, yeah, she was brave and she had enough? I don't know how they take that. I will say
this situation.
I will say it was embarrassing, and I hated
the fact that this has been a bigger headline the last couple of days than the Ukraine-Russia thing shows you where we are as a country.
hate it. I hate that situation so much because it robbed good moments from the Oscars. In fact, Chris Rock was presenting Best Documentary, and the guys that won, and they did it for a documentary about the soul movement in the music industry. Those guys, their moment was overshadowed, and then Troy Kostner got Best Supporting Actor. He's deaf. So he's the first deaf actor to win an Oscar. Historic moment, and everyone's talking about Will Smith and Chris Rock. This guy has done different roles. In fact, they said he came up with the language for the Tusken Raiders in Star Wars.
Oh, nice.
But I'm sure, him being deaf, people probably thought, he's a good guy, he's a good actor, but he'll never get an Academy Award. And he did, and it's overshadowed by this bullshit.
Yeah.
So
what else we got?
That's the last I'm going to say about that situation. Next up, there were a lot of metal releases coming out this year.
Yes.
And we love metal. So, Chris,
here we
you
go.
wanted to present this one, go.
So we got the solo Corpse Grinder record. It's good. I highly recommend it. I already got it. Abbat had released his solo record from formerly Immortal. It's a pretty good record.
He's a character.
He's fucking hilarious. Watch them try to interview him. If you ever watch Loudwire or anyone try to, it says, blank, 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 tries and fails to interview a bot. Crowbar's new records on my short list for top 10, like in my top 5 for the year.
10, 5, something.
Yeah. The new Immolation might each it out as the new number 1. It's so fucking good. Acts of God is so fucking good. So these are out. New Dark Funeral I haven't been able to get to here yet. Kirk Hammett's releasing a solo record. Rammstein, I believe, has got
with Hammett. I have to wonder if it's going to actually have vocals on it, like how Tony Iommi did that album, how Slash did that album. Because remember, his guitar teacher, Joe Satriani, Satriani mostly just does all guitar albums. Like there aren't any vocals on
Nita Strauss.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I'm really interested to see what Hammett does with this.
So Rammstein's, I guess, got a new record coming out. Jungle. This is, I think, a good year for death metal because you got tons of releases coming out from death metal. You have Jungle Rot, New Decapitated coming out, Immolation, Corpse Grinder, Misery Index, which is grindy. Then you have Destruction, Creator, who thrash legends that have sat on the fence for a while.
Municipal Waste, so that's a good year for thrash too.
Yeah. So
Meshuggah has a new
just
album
released
coming
a new one.
out.
So you got a ton of good shit coming out. So it's going to be a banger.
No new Limp Bizkit albums on the horizon.
Yeah.
Or Corey Taylor's solo albums.
Oh, that fucking that was a fucking. That made me want to throw up.
Just remember, he had a wrestling belt in that music video, and just watch, Chris Jericho is going to probably try to get it to AEW.
Ugh.
We'll have the CMFT Championship belt.
If anyone does that, they deserve to be fucking hit with ball-peen hammers.
All right, next up, for higher spirits, we got the House votes to decriminalize cannabis.
Well, yeah, that's great. Let's do it.
That is great.
Let's do it. I'm sober. I'm straight and sober. I think it should be legal. I think the consensus of everyone is now becoming a way more universal, non-political, like bias that consensus is legalize the shit. Everyone now thinks so.
But it's got to go through the Senate now.
Yeah. We'll see if it goes through the Senate, and it's got to go to Biden.
It's got to go to Biden, who has a history of being anti-pot.
Funny considering. No, shut up. No, shut up.
So, here's hoping that goes through, and then, people that get busted for 3 ounces of weed don't have to go to jail.
Yeah, I don't think anybody that's a nonviolent drug offender needs to go to prison because that's just going to make things worse for their life.
Right, you get those states have the 3 strikes rules, and
those rules are so effective that California had to release so many fucking people.
Yep.
Brilliant job.
So there's that. It brings us to someone that could probably use some good cannabis right now. Bruce Willis has announced his retirement from acting.
That's sad. I like Bruce.
He got diagnosed with aphasia, which, from what I understand, I wasn't familiar with it before this happened. From what I understand, it's like he's having difficulty communicating and understanding communication, so it sounds cognitive. It's caused by brain damage.
Yeah.
And I was talking to one of my friends, and she's like, well, maybe he had a stroke and didn't know it. I'm like, yeah, but he's also a very physical actor. It could have been caused by a stunt that went wrong.
Yeah.
And he didn't, maybe he thought it wasn't that
just
big of a deal.
So everyone's on the record, this should be everything that 8-year-olds and everyone else. Hitting the head is bad. If you do it a lot, it's going to cause bad things to you. So anyone that wants to have a debate on if football helmets, are they necessary or what the fuck ever? Yes, needed. Head damage equals bad. That's all I'm going to say.
Head damage equals bad.
Yes, it's bad.
And that's how you'll sound if you keep getting head damage.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it sucks. I mean, yeah, for the last few years, I feel like Bruce Willis has been on a descent when it comes to movies.
Well, it could have been at some point, as an actor, your job is to make money off of yourself as an actor.
Yeah.
So you got to take work, and this is something that Tom Hanks once said. They're like, "Well, how's it feel to be?"
This is something Nicolas Cage has proven.
Yeah, how's it? He's like, I can say no to things. You know, Bruce Willis is a good action movie actor. He's a good actor. Period.
Well, I feel like he hasn't been. He's been in this slump ever since the drama happened with the third Expendables film. Mm-hmm. If you don't know, basically him and Stallone had an argument about how much he should be paid. He was going to get paid $3 million for 4 days worth of shooting. He wanted $4 million for 4 days of shooting.
So here's the thing.
So then they got Harrison Ford.
And so a lot of these actors, some of their private stuff like this, we don't know until the end. Like Chadwick Boseman having cancer, nobody knew until.
No.
So when he was begging, trying to get all this kind of money for other roles or taking absolute shit roles, it could have been to finance. He probably might have had the early signs of this disease, and it could have been something he was using to help finance to take care of that. You know,
it really could have been. I mean, it's sad. I mean, I know there were people that were trying to hold out for one more Die Hard film.
Yeah,
but at this point, he should retire and he should enjoy his life.
Yeah. Before things get real bad for the poor guy. Right.
Speaking of retirements, that brings us to the wrestling world. Triple H announced his retirement,
and it's well deserved. There's all kinds of YouTube videos about the burials and stuff like that in the past. Here's my thing: he was a good wrestler, and on top of that, what he did with NXT was brilliant. There's so much good that came out of that, even if Vince McMahon 100% doesn't even want to fucking acknowledge it. There's great wrestlers that came from that, and there's great things that came from that. And that was
the black and gold NXT, I liked. I know it wasn't knocking it out of the park every time, but it was still good. Yeah. It much better than what it's become.
Yeah. I still like my favorite wrestler from one of my top 10 of this last year has been Tommaso Ciampa, or last few years. I love Tommaso Ciampa. He's great.
So, but yeah, Triple H, if you don't know, he had what they called a cardiac event. It wasn't a heart attack, but I think he got like pneumonia, and he had like liquid around his heart, and it was like causing pressure, and he almost died. Yeah. He had to go under the knife and get a defibrillator put in.
Here's the sad thing about these types of things. At one point, you have to choose between, do I want to have more financially, or do I want to see my kids the next day? And he made a decision as a father. I want to see my kids.
If you watch that interview he did, he gets choked up talking about that. You know, like seeing his kids before his surgery, because
you want to be able to walk your daughter down the aisle.
Exactly, both of them in his case. Yeah. And I'm sure it's hard. I'm sure it's not how he wanted to go out. Because I'm trying to think what his last match was. I think it was a house show match, to tell you the truth. And he's always been, a main eventer. Yeah. So I'm sure he wanted to have that retirement match like Foley did, or Batista, or Flair, or anyone. But he made the right choice, because, again, he has a defibrillator in his chest. So if his heart acts up, it's going to shock him. Yeah. No one needs to be seeing that happen in the ring. Yeah. So, like you said, well-deserved. And
then connected to Triple H, we need to bring up the legendary Scott Hall passing.
Scott Hall passed away. Speaking of heart issues, Scott Hall had fallen, if you don't know this, he fell at his home and injured his hip. So he had to get hip surgery. And when he was under for that hip surgery, he suffered multiple heart attacks. If you know Scott Hall's past, his heart has been through a lot. Yeah. He was put on life support, and his family ended up making the decision, we're going to pull the plug. This isn't what Scott would have wanted. Kevin Nash released a very heartfelt message on social media about, because that's his best friend. Yeah. And when you think Scott Hall, you think Kevin Nash, the outsiders, So Hall passed away. In fact, they said he lived like almost 4 hours after they pulled the plug.
No, because he was a tough dude.
He very tough, because
here's the thing that people need to take away.
The bad guy is not a pushover.
Besides the fact that Razor Ramon is one of the he's great. That character is great, and he's pretty selfless in the ring. You had a lot of people that were marks in the ring, and he really wouldn't. He would put you over. He'd put you over if he felt you're over.
If he felt you could work, then he'd.
But the other thing is, this man's drug issues, drug and alcohol issues, up to a point, were so bad. legendary. But what changed was when he met DDP and he got sober, and that gave him extra years on his life. And
he did have some relapses, and that'll happen. I mean, no one's saying, well, he had relapses, so no, that's not what I'm saying at all. He did relapse, and he did struggle with it. He struggled with it for years, and I think what happened with the relapse was when the pandemic hit, and he was confined to his home.
Yeah.
I think he suffered some depression issues, but
yeah. And the last 2 years have been just fuck. Since 2020, fuck. Everything past 2020 is fucking sucked. I had some good moments last year. I had some very good moments, and that shit ended for me at the start of this year.
And Scott Hall?
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to bring it back to Scott Hall. But no, Scott Hall did pass away. He left behind a hell of a career, a lot of moments. You can go and watch those classic matches. Speaking of bad moments in wrestling, and man, we're on the third one now. Big E Langston broke his neck in a wrestling match on SmackDown about 2 weeks ago. If you watch the footage, it's a very scary break. Ridge Holland did the suplex. Big E landed on not on his shoulders, on his neck, and instantly the ref does the X, and they have to take him out. It wasn't a work. I mean, and the kind of break it might actually end his career. Now, Big E,
he's a tough dude.
He's a tough guy. He's also great positive attitude. Even though he was laying in that, he filmed, like he did some streaming from his hospital bed, neck brace and all. He still had a very good demeanor going.
Great guy.
Big smile. And I would hate to see his career end, especially for like such a positive guy.
And he should have been holding that belt so much longer. He's great.
Right. So here, we don't know as of the filming of this video, if he'll be able to return or not, because they said with the break on it doesn't heal right. That's not to say he doesn't have to get surgery. I don't know, and I'm hoping that Big E does come back. I mean, even if he can't wrestle anymore, I'm sure the WWE will bring him in behind the scenes. But a guy like that wants to be in the ring.
Yeah.
And the fans...
Dude's awesome. One of the best big men, and one of the best new big men.
And the fans love him.
Oh, yeah. Rightfully so. He's great.
So here's hoping Big E makes a recovery on that. It's one thing that won't recover, and I actually have to get my phone out to read this. There's a new wrestling promotion out there called Control Your Narrative.
It sounds so stupid.
I don't know why it's called... Is it Control Your Narrative Wrestling? I know they call it... They call it CYN.
What's sad is because EC3's there, and he's great.
He's a great wrestler, but he is all in... Uh-oh, I can't say that. That's trademarked for another wrestling promotion. Okay, he's balls deep in this. That would be their first pay-per-view, balls deep.
The thing is, and like Austin Aries is a part of it. He's a great wrestler.
He's a great wrestler, but he's a shitty person.
He's just a dick.
He's a shitty person. And,
Shawn Michaels was great, but he was a dick.
And then
he grew up, got better.
Braun Strowman is
he's great, and he's not a dick. It's just this stupid.
He is kind of a dick. After all the shit he talked about indie wrestling.
Oh, and then MJF took him to task for that shit. That shit was funny.
Now, when it comes to Strowman,
all right, I'm gonna audience, follow MJF on Twitter and Facebook. If you are not following MJF on Twitter and Facebook, you are doing a huge disservice towards social media. It is consistent, fucking brilliant takes. It's the greatest troll in the world.
Now, Control Your Narrative Wrestling has released the rules of their promotion.
That's the whole point of these fucking things where we buck the rules.
Well, no, I get having the rules for this and saying, this is how things work in our promotion. I get that. The problem is some of these rules don't make any sense. I got a question. I thought they were trolling people when they put this out. Let me pull it up here.
These are stupid.
Okay, here we go. The rules and regulations. Rule number 1. You are in control.
So the problem with this is you're going to have a bunch of people that don't want to fucking lose planning a match.
Well,
and wanting to be
but
over.
That's why we have rule number 2. Rule number 2, in all caps, you are in control.
This is fucking Fight Club.
If everyone's in control, then no one's in control.
Yeah.
What does that even fucking mean?
Is that rule number 3 or something?
No. Rule number 3, fights end when you tap out, get knocked out, can't stand, or quit. Sanction, and this is in quotations, matches can end via pinfall. Sanctioned matches.
God, this is already hurting my head.
Right. Rule 4. Standard professional wrestling rules apply for sanctioned matches. Chaos. Hey, they're getting in on our gimmick now. Chaos ensues in the, in all caps, Project Pit.
What the fuck is this shit?
They don't even tell you what the Project Pit is.
What is it? Is it a group of fucking like right to censor motherfuckers coming up and beating you with
No, the Project Pit's where they sit around
noodles?
No, it's a back closet where they do meth.
This is terrible.
Rule number 5. No super kicks. Now there's hashtags in front of these moves, right? No super kick.
So, okay, the reasoning could be this. I don't know if so many moves are trademarked, but it could be a safety issue, and it also because none of the fucking people that can't do AEW or WWE are going to be on there even onto a remote level, so they probably don't want to get kicked by somebody that's deemed an amateur.
Well, no, that's okay, and I'll explain why I think they put these. There's 3 of them on here. No super kicks, no tope suicidas, and no Canadian destroyers. And I think the reason they said that is because everyone's doing them. Remember how I said to me the super kick is like the headlock now?
Yeah.
Everyone does it. It doesn't mean anything. It's not like when Shawn Michaels made it his finishing move.
Yeah.
Like when he broke it out, everyone's like, yeah, that was awesome. Now like everyone does it. It means nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, like if I owned a promotion, I'd say, okay, two wrestlers get to use the super kick.
Yeah.
One face, one heel.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's rule number 5. Rule number 6, and we're back to the tinfoil area, right? Rule number 6. I'm going to try to say this with a straight face.
Okay.
The fight isn't with your opponent. It's with yourself.
This is stupid. What is this about?
It's with yourself. This sounds like if Tony Robbins came up with a wrestling promotion.
I just got this vision of somebody that likes really violent sex trying to jerk off in front of a group of people very violently. Like, I'm gonna make it blow up.
I guess that would be the fight with yourself.
What the fuck?
Rule 7. Fights will go as long as they have to. And I had to point this out because this bothers me. The have to, is T-O-O in this, not T-O. So they didn't even have like a spell check or anything or an editor. But they go on as long as they have to. Sanction matches, now everything after this is in caps, hit their times.
This is stupid.
Now, the only thing that I think that means is like, let's say you have a match that the time limit's 10 minutes.
Yeah, it goes 10 minutes.
And, you know, maybe it's a title change match, right? You know, someone's challenging for the belt. If they don't win in that 10 minutes, they lose.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I forgot. The fight is with themselves.
Yeah. I'm trying to go.
I don't want to see someone beating themselves up in the ring. Are you ready? Here's rule 8, the final rule. If you want to hashtag control your narrative, you have to fight.
Nobody's thinking about what this fucking thing's doing. That's what's going on. They don't know what they're doing.
I don't know.
Like AEW,
don't know what a lot of this means.
There's a lot of people in AEW who don't know what they're doing. And there's a lot of people in AEW that do. There's no people in control narrative that know what they're doing.
Okay, so...
Unless they're trying to troll.
So they said they had TV. They had TV, right? Mm-hmm. They're not on network TV. They're on some kind of internet app, like WrestleTV.com or something like that.
Yeah.
So, does that count as TV?
I mean, we're going to more of a new generation, so you can maybe say that, but who the fuck's going to want to watch it?
Well, so they showed a picture from their first show, and I swear it looked like it was just a ring set up in a bar.
I think this thing's going to die faster than
it had the wrong name, because you know how like every company now has a Titantron?
Yeah.
So it had like a wrestler coming out, and I thought it was Braun Strowman, but it was one of the other guys from NXT. Big guy, real big, real buff, although still kind of fat, shaved head, but the name above it said Austin Aries. And I'm like, someone needs to be fired for that. That is so obviously not Austin Aries because he's this tall.
Yeah. Oh, this is just stupid.
Their first show, from what I've read on the message boards, opened up with a 3-minute long video about lizard people.
This is stupid.
So I really have no idea what to make of
It's going to die before it fucking fully gets off the ground.
I don't know if this is like the biggest troll in wrestling.
Could be.
If they're serious, God help them.
Yeah, this is stupid.
I don't know how you market this. The rules don't make sense. It sounds like I said, Tony Robbins coming up with stuff. The fight is with yourself, not with your opponent. So I don't know what any of it means. They haven't had their first pay-per-view. They haven't had their first televised event. So, I mean, maybe they're all having a laugh, and then once it hits, it gets serious. I just don't know how. World Wrestling Entertainment. I mean, that name sounds like a promotion.
Yeah.
All Elite Wrestling. Sounds like a promotion. National Wrestling Alliance.
Control your narrative sounds like a hashtag.
Control your narrative. Yeah.
Sounds like a hashtag.
So, I mean, I don't know.
Fuck it. In the words of Bill O'Reilly over his flipping, fuck it. Shit sucks.
Do it live.
That's what they're doing.
And remember, the fight's with yourself. Right. So there's some of the stuff that's been going on. Chris also wanted me to add on here, BuzzFeed sucks.
Yeah, because BuzzFeed's it's fucking stupid. All clickbait manufacturers can go fuck their mothers. I'm sick of it.
Hashtag, the fuck is not with your mother, it's with yourself. Well, do you have anything you want to add before we go?
Fuck BuzzFeed. The only thing that I saw on BuzzFeed that was good is they had Michael Francis doing stuff talking about how certain things related to the mob or certain things in like video games or let's say movies, if it was realistic depiction of mob life, and he'd be like yes or no or whatever. That's the only thing BuzzFeed's released that I think was worth a fuck.
I do want to add for the 8 rules for control your narrative. How do you have the balls to call them 8 rules when 2 literally repeat?
Yeah, they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
You are in control. You are in control. It's the same fucking thing. You just use caps and you didn't use spell check or have an editor, and that bothers me, and it shouldn't, but it does. Other than that, we're going to work on more videos and get them out to you. I found some notes of some stuff that I wrote down, so we got some new segments on the horizon, some new things in the works, right, Chris?
Yeah.
And I think we can all say, Chris, it's good to have you back.
Yeah.
I am going to trim this because it just feels weird having a longer beard than you.
I mean, my beard state might get shorter. I might trim it up. I'm not going to grow it out like no, unless I get built like Bill Goldberg. Like that, then I'm going to kind of keep it.
No, you know what? Add the muscle, but do the Hulk Hogan horseshoe stash.
No, I don't want to do anything like Hogan because his career is done.
And what else is done? I'll tell you. This video, we've actually gone on a little longer than I thought we would. I hope you guys had fun. Like I said, it's great to be back, and we will see all of you later. Bye.
Bye.